Hi everyone, it's not just build week, it's build month. Welcome back to a major update on the conversion of our 1930s-ish pump house into our vintage computer and arcade repair workshop, and there's an awful lot to pack in, which we can't wait to show you. Now in the last part we just got the joists up for the first floor and we were laying the subfloor. This is the workshop floor on the first floor, and the ground floor is our library and storage area, and this is where we pick things up again, completing that floor. We're taking on the work ourselves and of course getting the important things signed off, and the build is evolving too as we discover problems along the way, but we'll get to that later. We also got to use the space we've made so far for an exhibition of abandoned arcade cabinets and a talk on arcade raids, which worked really well. But we've had to pack all of that away now to be ready to take delivery of a key part of our build. That's arriving here now, and thanks to the help of 5V Plant Hire just down the road, they nipped over with their forklift truck to help us unload. Thank you guys. We have this box. What's in the box, I wonder? That's right, I bought a goods lift. On Alibaba. Yes, this will be the key to getting all of our arcade cabinets up to the first floor for us to work on. And after searching far and wide for one within budget and considering building our own, we couldn't even source the metal to build our own for the price of this complete kit. So it will need a bit of modification, but it's a good foundation for us at a good price. That lift will need something solid to be fitted on, so we're building a new wall now, and that will also be pinned to the outside of the building for extra support. And volunteers like Gavin are back again this month to keep things moving forward. You guys have been critical in keeping this going to our deadline, which is really tight. We wanted this finished by October. We are going to roll into October, I think now, but we're doing our best, and all of our focus and all of our videos in September are on getting this done, because with it in place we can make some amazing trash to treasure videos and restoration videos. We'll have everything we need to do that. It will all be worth it. We just need this big push to get it finished. Jason's securing the motor at the top there, which is going to have its work cut out to lift some of those heavy Atari cabinets, but there's plenty of capacity in that motor to do that. And now we get to do our first test of the lift under load with this heavy arcade.
It works. My God, it works.
It works. It's jumping and skipping all over the place because we haven't finished fitting it properly yet. So hopefully we'll see a smoother operation of it by the end of this video, but we have a working lift. And that means we can get the final joists in around it to complete the first floor. But they haven't arrived yet, so we'll busy ourselves while we wait for those joists to arrive. Jason shakes a can, while Richard and I take delivery of the metal needed for the lift modifications, the stair rail and the first floor railings so nobody falls off. Jason then shakes his can some more, and Holly shows us the plan for her lift.
So that's what the lift will look like. We're going to do a drop rail with a magnetic clasp there. So instead of a chain, there's a rail that just drops down on a magnet catch, both top and bottom, so it can't fall out.
And then I get to work on cutting the metal to size, all ready to be welded into place.
It doesn't splatter or anything.
This metal fabrication reminds me of the sheet metal fabrication services available at PCBWay.com.
I love PCBWay, you love PCBWay, we all love PCBWay. They make PCBs all day long, yeah. If you need a PCB or something CNC, a 3D print or 3, then you'll visit PCBWay.com. And now you know my contractual obligations have been met. Yeah, they ha.
Meanwhile, Jason, the trooper that he is up above us removing the old paint from the 3 large trusses. It's a big job even with power tools to really get into every corner and around all the nuts and bolts. But once he gets his teeth into a job, he just doesn't stop. Now, we've had some discussions about how we paint these trusses. I favoured an industrial red colour. Others like the idea of a distressed look or a black colour. At this point it's still undecided, but regardless we will need to strip all the old paint off. I then got to try my hand at some welding, and I very quickly turned that kit back over to Holly. Welding is definitely an art as well as a skill, and I don't think my training should be trusted on a lift of all things. It was fun to try it though. Holly's lift cage is taking shape, and the idea is that the top of the lift will be invisible, so we'll lay flooring on it and then it will rise up out of the floor to deliver kit to us. That's the idea, if we can get it all lined up nicely. Back to the trusses, and now we've ruled out the distressed look, so we treated them with red oxide, which just so happened to be the same colour of red that I envisaged them to be, and even if we are to paint them black we would need to put the red oxide on first. But by the end of that paint job, which Jason's doing there, we all thought the colour suited the pump house perfectly, so we have settled on it and this is how it will stay. With another job done, Jason went back to shaking his can, and we were all delighted to hear the final joists had arrived. All of us except Holly, that is.
So, Holly, I understand we've had a bit of a setback. Is that right?
Just a little one.
Do you want to explain it to us?
What's a decimal place between friends?
or traders,
or
suppliers in this instance, I believe.
Our second run of joists are 10 centimetres too short.
Oh dear.
It's my fault.
Right. What happened?
I'm not saying. It's a complicated process in the ordering and the calculation, and yeah, 1 decimal place out.
Right. Okay. How do you feel about that?
Like crap.
I bet. Any idea how much it's got to set us back?
I've just been firing off a load of emails to see what we can sort out about it. I'm waiting for them to come back to me. So I'm having a nice cup of coffee.
Yeah.
And we'll see what happens. Fingers crossed, everybody.
Yeah.
Now when a problem strikes, befriend a cat. That's what I always say, and I'm working on gaining the trust of the car park cat here at the mill. I'm slowly getting there. Holly took her frustration out on some more welding to make the staircase a little bit safer, and I'm pleased to say she did sort out the joist problem, and we were going to be able to carry on with a little bit of a delay. So we built the framework for the barrier upstairs while we waited for the joists to arrive. Got as far as we could until some more metal arrives, but that's a good start to that bit, and we'll come back to that later because then the joists did arrive. Hooray! And we could build up the floor around the lift, making sure there's ample tolerance to take the weight of anything we might want to unload up there. We are planning on storing the bulk of the arcades downstairs, but obviously there'll be a few up here at a time. And then the final subflooring arrives and we can cover up those gaps. A miracle that nobody's fallen down them already. And we can call our subfloor and our first floor complete. Now let's talk about the ceiling. To keep the costs down earlier in this build, but to keep things safe, a plan was hatched to install the insulation up in the roof and then coat it in a specialist fire retardant paint. That would keep the price down. It should be a fairly quick job, and after 4 weeks of waiting for this specialist paint to arrive, we gave it a go. Now the guidance says it can be applied by roller, brush or paint sprayer, so I started off with the roller and found problem 1, it refused to stick to any roller we tried. This is the weirdest paint, and yes, we mixed it lots and lots as per the instructions, and it just came out like putty more than paint. What about a brush then? So I gave that a go next. Here we go. And well, yeah, it kind of works. I'd have to layer it on thick, but it's possible. But when you look up here, I'll pan the camera around and you see the scale of this whole ceiling. How long will it take me to brush this on with a little brush? It will take months to do, and the finish won't be nice at all. So we then tried a paint sprayer which one of our volunteers had, and we quickly found that the paint was so thick that it was just a non-starter with this sprayer. On reading into it more, it recommends a 3300 psi paint sprayer. The power of our paint sprayer, 3 psi. Yeah, this was going to need specialist equipment and not our piddly little thing. So we made some phone calls.
National tool hire, medium airless paint sprayer, 3300 psi.
And many phone calls later, we just couldn't get a powerful enough paint sprayer on hire. Even if we could, we were all then raising concerns about the quality of the finish we'd get anyway, the mess we'd make. And we came to the conclusion that the cost saving that we thought we would make probably wasn't going to be worth it. So we did the right thing, you'll be pleased to hear. We had lunch. And then we went to the builder's yard and we bought plasterboard. Lots and lots of plasterboard. Now this was going to take 2 weeks out of our schedule that we hadn't planned for, and it was going to be a lot more awkward than if we just installed them in the first place when we had the scissor lift way back at the start of the build, but needs must. This build will look better for it, and I'm positive that the effort will be worth it. Slowly but surely we're making progress on it, and let's take a break now to see a job that Richard has to do outside. So outside here, Richard is making good the old door, which if I show you, has come away from the wall. A big old gap there. So as winter comes closer, we want to make sure all of the outside is watertight. What are you doing, Richard?
Fixing this bit of wood to keep the door from falling over. So it's a little bit flappy at the moment. So it needs to be re-secured, which is fine. We might do something with the door later on, but for now we just need to make it safe.
Just seal it up. Cool. Maybe one day that door will be functional, but for now that will keep us dry inside through the winter, and there's more filling happening inside. You filled the crack?
I filled my crack.
What crack are you filling, Jason?
The bottom crack.
You're filling the bottom crack?
Yeah.
Work on our ceiling is slowed somewhat as we go up a level, and we've only got one tower to work on, so we can't work from ladders now. So Jason and I are building frames to clad and cover the old windows. These will become part of the workshop set backdrop, the idea being that we can make space on them to hang tools and have everything that we need to hand, while making it look like a really nice set backdrop workspace. You'll see when we finish them what I mean. But it has to be said that this ceiling detour was starting to send us all a bit loopy after the first week. We just didn't want to see any more plasterboard, but we persevered. For you, we persevered. Jason shook his can, and we reached a milestone. With this bit in here, that's board number 42, which means we are exactly 3 runs at the halfway point, and that's taken us far longer than we hoped. So what we're going to do now is we're going to get a double tower, a higher tower, to do this middle section, both sides at once. And then we're going to extend this single tower that I'm sat on And we're going to put it down there to do that run there. 2 crews of 2, and in theory we can do one more push back along here with both towers and get this ceiling finished. That's the theory. Let's see what happens. Confident, Holly?
Confident, 100%.
Jason?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, place your bets. This is the technique we've perfected of getting these batons up to the top layer. Right, 3 grown men with 3 pokey sticks. This is how it's done. Right, I'll get the first stick. I've got to
Think spillikins.
I've got to feed it into the truss. There it is.
Yeah.
Avoiding the massive pile of plasterboard that's in
And then the pokey stick men,
Knock it through.
they take over.
Whoop.
There's Jason down there. There's Richard with a pokey stick, and there's Dan with a stick. And me and Holly, we're just
Neil.
enjoying the show. Here it comes.
Hey! Slick action.
And that is why we are the professionals. Holly's hurt her back. You gonna be alright?
Yeah. Alright.
You got any painkillers?
Yeah, but I can't take painkillers. The only painkillers I can take are aspirin.
Oh dear. Anyone want to walk on Holly's back? We can't lose her. She is critical to this operation. With walking wounded, we could see the end of the boarding was in sight. Just about half a day was left to go with this, and then we could paint it and put all of this pain behind us. Quite literally in Holly's case. But thankfully she did get a weekend to recover at this point, and then the final cut of plasterboard was made. Right, they're putting the last one in, which means if I climb down, one-handed, while I hold the camera. There we go. It's done! The whole ceiling is done. Thought I'd never see the day. You happy, Holly?
I will be when I see it. I haven't seen it yet.
And now there's just the small job of painting the whole damn thing. We could cover the cost of the plasterboard, but having it professionally plastered now would have eaten into the rest of the budget. It would have cost thousands. So we settled on a thick mix of white paint and Artex to do the job. And then we tested the consistency to make sure that we were all happy and got 3 thick coats of it all over the ceiling. Painting's coming along well, but I just want to introduce you to someone with a secret. This is Pete.
Hi.
Pete, what have you just told me?
That I really love to paint and it's my favourite thing.
This section of the video is just for Pete's wife, to show you how much he loves painting, and he can't wait to get home and paint the house, isn't that right?
Yes, of course, yes. Thank you very much.
I promise I'll cut it out, Pete.
Yeah.
It took 2 intense days to get the coverage we wanted on the ceiling, and what a transformation it was, and a far better finish than we would have got on the crinkled silver foil of the insulation. It's not perfect, but it's so much better. All that remains for this phase is to get the floorboards down then, and with nothing at all straight in this building, we gave Richard the task of setting a centre line for the boards. These are old floorboards reclaimed from a distillery, remember, and their aged look should suit this build really well. We first varnished them all with a 50-50 water varnish mix. This means that they'll be easy to wipe down when we walk dirt on them as we lay them, rather than just grinding dirt into them that we then have to scrub out before we can varnish. Then we put down a sound dampening layer, and on top of that a damp-proof course so that any spilled liquids, because I will invariably knock my coffee over, don't drop down into the rooms below. And finally the boards go on top of that. They've been planed with nice straight edges. We just chop the ends to square them off. And with half the room done now in our first pass, we repeated the process on the other side. Jason shook his can, which is now significantly smaller, and I went to check on Holly. We were all a bit wobbly on our feet by now.
It's Monday morning, the varnish has had the weekend to dry. I haven't seen it finished yet because I had to leave early on Friday. So let's go and take a look at what Richard's been doing in there over the weekend. This is exciting. Not a lot to see on the first floor yet. I'll give you a quick peek. Obviously we've got the lift down here. It's sort of behind the tower. There's our lift. Holly's still got some work to do. She did put the mesh on there and then decided she wasn't happy with it. So she's going to do some more modifications on the lift. So we'll see that all finished in the next episode, including some alien-inspired modifications to it. But I won't spoil the surprise on that. So here's what downstairs looks like. This is what will become our storerooms. Loads of space, but we'll come on to that in the next episode because it's really upstairs that we're interested in. So let's go on up. We've got our handrail on the stairs. This will have a wooden rail on the top and it will all be tidied up. So we come up the stairs. Richard's made sure nobody's stepped on it over the weekend. And let's just remind ourselves what it looked like. We had that horrendous ceiling with bits of wood hanging down. That could have landed on our head at any moment. Just a small mezzanine and basically a very cold, big open warehouse, effectively. And this is what our first floor looks like now. Isn't it incredible? I'm so pleased with this. Yes, I know it looks like a dance studio and I'm not going to demonstrate that, but it will become a workshop. I love the way this floor's worked out. There's going to be another layer of varnish going down on this, but it looks great as it is. That's just for protection that we want to get some more varnish down. Yes, you can see joins in the ceiling. The only way we would avoid that is if we spent thousands upon thousands on a plasterer, which we're not going to do at this point. But when you consider what we started with, it's a fantastic improvement. Love the trusses, love the colour on those. And you can see the frames I've built on the wall here. This is where our workstations will be. So I don't know how I'm going to lay it out yet, but let's say CRT repair corner, electronics, cleaning and refurbishment, something else. You know, we've got ample space, I say that now, ample space to create this wonderful repair shop where all of us can be working at our respective disciplines, filming and bringing everything together. For example, we might have an arcade cabinet in the middle of the room, which we're gutting out and taking the parts to each station and all working really efficiently and making an awesome video about it for you. So that's how this space is developing. We did have a bit of a problem. We ordered 75 meters square of this flooring. We calculated we needed 68 and a half. And we've come up short, even allowing for trimming the ends. So we've been delivered, we think 5 meters square too little. So I'm trying to sort that out, and then we can finish off the top of the lift here because it's got nothing on it. We've got some offcuts left that we can use to do the edges, but we need that little bit more to finish off the job, and we should have had ample. And we were going to use some of the excess as well for the cladding on the frames. So I think we'll find something distinctly different. And here's my question to you. Should each of these frames be clad in a uniform way, so they all look the same, or should they all be different or slightly different so that we've got distinctive filming areas? I mean, they'll have different toolkits, they'll have tools on the wall, they'll have different things going on, but it might be quite nice to make them all slightly different, like individual sets, while bringing the room together at the same time. It's a difficult balance, I'll figure it out, but any input from you guys is much appreciated. And of course, rugs, things like that. And then up above us, studio lighting, so we'll get sort of a pole across here and all the different types of lights to backlight and front light and side light, and almost sounds like I know what I'm doing, but we'll figure it out through trial and error to get some nice lighting and acoustics. Once there's stuff in here, it will be less echoey. I'm just filming this on a DJI Action 5 Pro because in filming this, I absolutely destroyed my GoPro Hero 8, so I had to get a new action camera. So you may have noticed the quality of some of the shots improve halfway through this episode. It's a really nice camera, but we will revert to lapel mics and the proper camera when we're filming in here, and we'll consider things like reverb and that sort of stuff. Anyway, have another look around. This is where we are. We've still got a huge amount more to do. Finish that railing, finish the lift. But then, well, immediately, really, I can measure up and start to order furniture and go to reclamation yards and figure out what to put in here to keep the theme of the pump house while making it functional. The next video, I think, is going to be filmed in here because we've had so many wonderful donations from people over this summer, from visitors, that I think it would be lovely to get them out of where they are currently, put a table up here and film our first video going through the generous donations that people have made to the museum. So I'll do that soon. And then immediately we'll get back into finishing this place off so that it's all ready for the winter, and we can get back to the trash to treasures and all those videos that you and I love. One last look. Absolutely love it. Thank you to the team that's been working with me, and especially to those volunteers who are putting so much time and effort into this too. Great job. Hope you like it. See you in the next video, guys. Remember to like and I sound like a real YouTuber, don't I? Like and subscribe. Is there a bell anymore to smash? I don't know that there is. And if you want to support what we're doing, all in the name of building this space to preserve the old tech that we're bringing here to put in the museum to share with people, head to patreon.com/The Retro Collective and you can become official supporters. One last look. Love it. See you next time, guys. Bye-bye.
Ready?
Yeah.
How are we going?
Yay!
That's nice.